We literally cannot make a battle royale right now with UEFN. There's not enough memory, there's not enough data, there's no custom weapons, there's no custom vehicles, there's no custom nothing. Nobody wants to invest that kind of money and time and development into a full-scale battle royale in the Fortnite ecosystem when it is in such a poor state. You got scam maps, you got XP maps, you got things breaking, you got complex maps breaking every other update. Simplicity is the only thing that's being rewarded, and complex maps come out swinging, but then they break with a few updates because Fortnite just can't handle it right now.
When UEFN first launched back in 2023, we thought this was gonna take over, that this was gonna be the next Roblox, the next Minecraft, that everybody was going to be making these high quality video games, these AAA video games, and that it was just going to take over. Fortnite was going to be unrecognizable. Nobody was going to be playing Battle Royale anymore. Everybody was going to be going in on this UEFN and only playing like these custom creative maps basically. And if you look back to the creative, what people were calling a creative 2.0 trailer, the projects they showcased off then do look pretty good. Sure, a lot of them was scripted, like that boss fight thing they had, and Bright Bomber was shooting the boss with the LMG. That was all fake. It was all just animations. Bright Bomber wasn't doing any actual damage to that boss there, but it was like a proof of concept type thing. If you take a look at the original, the other stuff they were showing, and I'll hopefully be showing this off in the video as well. If you look back to the 4 maps they did publish, with the dragon was pretty amazing. Then you had like this kind of, I don't even know what to call it. You were basically walking around this like science lab or something, I don't know. And then like the Call of Duty one, which is honestly insane. I did play that a fair bit. And this was all proof of concepts. This was all like, here's some showcases, stuff that's possible right now. People are like, oh my god, how is this Fortnite? You're like, here you go, here's the tools, go ahead, well, let's see what you make. And what did people make? They started making low quality, brain rot, red versus blue shit. Literal trash. Nobody, well, I mean, that's kind of a lie. At first there were actually a lot of high quality creative maps. I will say when UEFN first launched, there was a lot of like, you guys remember those horror maps people were making? Those are actually pretty good and high quality. They did scare me a lot, but besides that, there really wasn't a lot of like good multiplayer maps. Most people were literally just importing the most goofiest models like Peter Griffin and like Chun-Li fucking washing machine. You guys remember that shit? They were just importing 3D models and having like stupid sound effects on like a blank canvas of a map, just like grass landscape with like tilted tower prefabs on the ground and weapons on the ground. And that was the UEFN experience at that time. And that was over 3 years ago. So you would think by now that, you know, Epic Games figured it out. They stopped incentivizing people to be making those low quality maps and rewarded those making these higher quality maps, putting them on Discover. Basically, if you don't know what Discover is, it's like when you go into Fortnite, you see all those maps there. It's like the Epic Games creative algorithm, basically. It's like your homepage of like TikTok. And those maps determine if players are going to play it. If your map is not on the Discover page of UEFN or a Fortnite, you will not get a consistent amount of players. Sure, you can go on YouTube and Twitter and promote your map that way, or TikTok or whatever, promote your map through third-party resources, and you might get players. But if your map is not chosen to be on the front of Discover, within a couple weeks your map is going to be dead. It doesn't matter how big of a following you have, it has to be on Discover to get those players. And you take a look at Discover, what is it nowadays? It is fucking terrible. Scrolling on it right now, I'm seeing Steal the Brain Rot, Escape Volcano for Brain Rot, 1v1 with every gun, and it's literally a grass plot with walls and weapons on the ground. Battle the Brain Rot, Red versus Blue, Super Red versus Blue, Epic Red versus Blue. And even those Zone War maps, which these maps have been around for a long time, and I was fine with those, like goated Zone Wars or tilted Zone Wars. I was fine with those maps. But we have all these tools in UEFN, so much possibilities, so much stuff you can do. Why are these maps still on Discover? Even if you like those maps like Go to Zone Wars and Tilted, which I do, I think they're fun. They're like cheap fun, basically. Just hop in and shoot people and run around, and those maps can stay on there, it's fine. But, you know, like, look at the thumbnail. Like, the map is literally a grass plot with 4 bunkers and weapons. And the same thing with Tilted Zone Wars. It's literally Creative 1.0. It's just prefabs, tilted prefabs on the ground. I'm not saying, once again, I'm not saying those maps are bad. I'm just saying we've evolved so much in the technical aspects of UEFN and of Creative 1.0 too, by the way, that those maps shouldn't really be, they shouldn't be on Discover. They shouldn't be on the front page. They should still be there, but they shouldn't be like when you launch into Fortnite, those are the first maps you see. I'm not saying they shouldn't exist, okay? And it sucks. It really does suck. So what the hell happened? Why are, one, people not making high quality creative maps? And two, why is Epic Games not putting higher quality maps on Fortnite Discover? So we have to take a look back of when UEFN first launched, and I guess you could say it wasn't in the best shape. The UEFN was extremely buggy, so many problems with it, and when it launched, it missed so many crucial features. Verse was incredibly washed down. There was not a lot you could really do with it. There still isn't custom weapons in the game, custom items. The way people make custom like entities, custom environment is weird. It's not like, if you've seen like custom enemies in UEFN, it seems like they're using some kind of like invisible device that's being teleported to like the entity, like the monster or whatever, and when you shoot at it, like, it's not right. And I think this is just like the technical aspect of it, is like that's the only way you can get custom entities in Fortnite UEFN. You have to like teleport, like, and by the way, I could be wrong about this, but from what I'm seeing, you have to teleport like the Creative 1.0 like hitbox registration. You turn that invisible and you put that on top of your custom entity mob or whatever, and that's how you can make it like die and take damage and stuff like that. Which, it's like, why is that like that? Why isn't there just like, you can just code in your own actual entity in Verse or whatever? But that still isn't possible today. You have to kind of go through these weird like loopholes to get like a custom entity in UEFN. There's also the memory size limits. That's terrible. I don't even, wait, let me actually look what the memory size is. I think it's 100K. Yeah, it is 100,000, which is honestly nothing. For these large scale projects, that is not enough memory. You cannot create a super satisfactory AAA experience with that memory limit. You're gonna hit an edge wall, you're gonna hit a brick wall, and you're gonna have to tone down some other features of your map. And when you do that, the maps are objectively not gonna be where you really want them to be, and players are gonna see, and some things in your maps are gonna kind of fail. I'll see if I can put on screen. I saw this tweet. I'll see if I could try to find it, of like, they compared like the creative, or they compared the Fortnite OG map to what kind of map you can make in UEFN, and it's like this little tiny area. It's like the size of like Loot Lake, Tilted, and like Pleasant combined or something like that. It's like this little area in Fortnite OG is how much memory you can actually use with UEFN, which is honestly trash. Like, you can't make these super high quality games with that memory limit. A lot of the devices in creative are very outdated. Like the Husk zombie spawner, I don't know why they don't do custom like zombies device or anything like that. I don't even know why they have a custom entity device at all. But that Husk device, or not Husk, that cube mod, we don't have Husk. Imagine if there was Husk in Fortnite creative as a device. That'd be amazing. I love freaking COD zombie recreation maps, and I'm actually about to talk about that in a little bit. But that device is just so bad. The cube monster device is so outdated, and the state of UEFN is just, it's really not that good. There were a lot of projects people were actually planning to make. If you guys remember, Cypher PK, Ninja, Tim the Tatman, Courage JD, and Nick Merckx were going to be making their own like Fortnite Battle Royale in UEFN. This was called Project V. Since like Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman mostly play like games like Call of Duty, more realistic, like Warzone, and even Ninja does that too. Ninja doesn't even really play Fortnite now, by the way. If you look at his clips on YouTube, if you look at the videos he's posting like nostalgia, like chapter 2 videos, which is honestly insane to me. I honestly miss old chapters of Fortnite. But Cypher, mixed with like Cypher PK and Courage, who play Fortnite, they're Fortnite creators. They were planning to make this super... One, they were planning on stuff like having first person. We didn't get that till like, I want to say like a year ago or something like that, is when we finally got first person mode. And even that now is terrible. Like 90% of the guns do not work with first person. The iron sights are all off. There's no reload animations for really any of the guns. There's a handful of like the ballistic and like the chapter 5 and maybe chapter 6, maybe 7 as well, era type guns, which do kind of work, but most of the time they really don't. The sound effects completely go off of them. Like, there's no sounds when reloading sometimes. There's so many bugs with that device. And that's just like one thing out of the hundreds of other things in which I just named, like the memory limit, the custom entities, custom environment, custom skins and animations, a whole bunch of stuff. So that project, I'm pretty sure, ended up getting canceled. It's either canceled or they put it on an indefinite hiatus with it because UEFN right now is not in the state. And I'll even see if I can find the Cypher PK clip of what he specifically said about UEFN.
Nobody wants to invest that kind of money and time and development into a full-scale battle royale in the Fortnite ecosystem when it is in such a poor state. You got scam maps, you got XP maps, you got things breaking, you got complex maps breaking every other update. Simplicity is the only thing that's being rewarded, and complex maps come out swinging, but then they break with a few updates because Fortnite just can't handle it right now.
Fortnite is completely dying. Every time they have an update, UEFN completely breaks. Your map literally explodes. All the coding fails, and it's like, you can't make maps in UEFN and make these large-scale projects if every time Fortnite has an update, your map completely breaks. It's like there's literally no point. It's just not trustworthy at that point. And I do feel bad for a lot of UEFN and creative players that have to deal with that every time. Epic Games is a billion-dollar company. This product obviously was not ready, and they just wanted to push it out so much. It needed more baking. I even think UEFN was tested on PlayStation consoles, and that still isn't out. So I feel like UEFN should, at least a version of UEFN should be on consoles. By it being on the PlayStation 5, it proves that it does work with the next-gen consoles. But the major thing is what I want to talk about is Discover. People make these low-quality brain rot maps is because that's what gets the most amount of players. And I don't really necessarily blame the creators, because Epic Games is the one pushing those maps out. Obviously, little kids do want to play those maps, so it's kind of like a hard situation to really think about. Like, if they want to play it, they should be able to play it, and if they're going to get thousands upon thousands of players, even more than Battle Royale sometimes, even more than like Epic Games official modes like Reload and that box fight modes, which is completely dead. I think I'll be making a video on that. Then, of course, they're going to get boosted in Discover. Epic never pushes actual good maps on Discover. It's just a hard truth. I don't see a single good map on Discover, really, at all. There might be a few maps here and there, but most of the times, if you want to get high quality maps in Fortnite, you literally have to go on the Fortnite creative subreddit. That's where, hopefully, in the background gameplays in which I'm playing these two awesome maps, I found them on the Fortnite creative subreddit. This one map was like a Chernobyl radiation monster fighting map. It reminds you of the Stalker game series if you guys have played it. Pretty insane. Hopefully I'll be showing you guys that in the background of this video during editing. It honestly was fucking sick. I had a lot of fun playing that map. Another map, this COD Zombies map, which I was playing a little bit earlier, which I might make my own video on. That was pretty awesome. It's like, why can't people go ahead and make these types of maps? Why are most people making these low quality red versus blue clones and steal the brain rot clones? Fortnite has to stop pushing these maps on Discover. If these high quality, and it's crazy because if these higher quality maps, like these large scale, like there's some of these maps, like these large scale 50v50 maps, will not get players, so they're impossible to play. If those maps were pushed on Discover, they would 100% without a doubt get players, guaranteed. All they need to be is on Discover, and the players would play them because they're objectively fun. These other dog dookie maps are getting players because they're on Discover. That's why a lot of these clones that aren't on Discover have no players. People are just injecting low quality maps into UEFN. There needs to be better moderation. There needs to be more moderation for these AI thumbnail maps. There needs to be a fucking, like, a little disclaimer saying AI used or something like that. If your experiences, I guess that's what Epic Games or Fortnite wants us to call them, if you're using AI for the thumbnails, it should not be pushed on the homepage of Discover at all. And with Fortnite expanding monetization inside your Fortnite map, where you can have players be able to spend V-Bucks on in-game features, I guess you could call, even though a lot of the times people are doing pay-to-win strategies with that and doing a whole bunch of scamming predatory shit like gambling. I did make a short and a video on that. You guys should check that out a bit ago, where you could spend like 100 V-Bucks to fucking roll a spinning wheel, which will land on some like steal the brain rot cosmetic or something like that. I don't know. People are doing it for pay to win stuff inside creative maps to give players an advantage who spend money. That just incentivizes people to make low quality maps. Because you could easily just do like literally a fucking grass plot, put weapons on the ground, and then do a little pop-up that says 100 V-Bucks to get a legendary weapon, which should not be allowed, which it isn't allowed, but people still do it. Or they'll do it for like to get like a speed boost or something, and sometimes they do for cosmetic purposes, like, oh, you get like a, I don't know, you get a little crown or some shit like that. And they constantly just spam it on the ground. They put it in front of your face every 2 seconds, like, spend V-Bucks, spend V-Bucks, spend V-Bucks. And it's like, get out of my face. I'm just trying to have fun, play the game. Oh my God. And it's just so fucking sad. It really is sad. And with Epic Games releasing UEFN 6, they're actually going to be merging multiple games and Disney and Rocket League and probably like shit like Fall Guys into a universal hub. Think of like Call of Duty HQ, which nobody likes that. It fucking sucks. It really does suck. So Fortnite BR, Festival, Disney modes, Rocket League, UEFN experiences, and Fortnite Lego for right now, where it's going to be in a universal hub, which imagine as soon as you launch this hub, it's probably gonna be like 150 gigs. We have no Fortnite Lite package, even though we've been waiting for years for the Lite package, where Fortnite doesn't take up all the storage. You're gonna be blasted with all these Steal the Brain Rot clones, red versus blue clones, these low quality maps, and it's gonna be such a fucking shitty experience. I'm so sick of Fortnite pushing this metaverse stuff they keep pushing. I just hate it. Like, I miss just getting on Fortnite and just launching Battle Royale and just playing the game and the item shop, and that was it, and the locker. Now there's just so much shit pushed into Fortnite, it just makes you not even want to play the video game anymore. Like, if I want to play Rocket League, I'll go play Rocket League. If I want to go play a Disney mode, I'll go play the Disney modes. Why is it being pushed into a universal hub where I have to see all that shit, and I have to go and scroll like a little Timmy on his tablet on Netflix, scrolling just to get the Battle Royale? And it's so sad because there was a lot of UEFN maps in which I was actually having a fun time playing. Like this one map, it's called Conscripted. That had a lot of players, and I guess it just got kicked off of Discover or something, because now it has 4 players playing, and sometimes none. Sometimes there's literally no players playing it, and it's a large-scale first-person World War II map. Why can't we get more maps like that? But I don't know. So that's an experience I'll never be able to get again, because Fortnite does not push it on Discover. It just pisses me off. And Tim Sweeney did say that they want Fortnite maps to be their own like separate games. So like you'll be able to like use the Fortnite items and weapons and the Fortnite like ecosystem and all like the tool assets inside of Fortnite for your own games separate from Fortnite. So you can like download, I don't know, World War III or something, the video game, and it has like, you know, you can wear like your Fortnite skins and has your Fortnite account connected to it, and like Fortnite weaponry and all that stuff, and data and assets and stuff, which I think is a cool idea. But realistically, people are just going to be making these clones and these low quality maps to get players to spend money. UEFN was never a passion project. It was never for these creators to create the best experiences possible. It was just to slurp the most amount of money as possible. And I think how much did Fortnite pay out to creators? And Fortnite has been paying millions of dollars. So I don't know when this was. I think this was in 2023 or something, 2024. I don't know. They paid out $352 million to UEFN creators, the ecosystem. Epic allocates 40% of its eligible real money in-game net revenue to an engagement pool. So that's being split up to all the creators, which that basically means like the top creators are basically getting all the money, and like the creators who are getting like no players on their maps, and most creators are getting like literal pennies, like 0.00001%, which I've heard that they should be spreading it out, the money, the pool out more, and the big creators are just slurping up all the money basically, or they're slurping up all the real money. They're slurping up all the in-game net revenue, which does suck. So you be making this high quality map, and you literally get, and with all your work you don't get paid, so you can't keep updating your map and, you know, support yourself to be making more maps. And then you remember like when Epic Games laid off 1,000 employees, in which in 2023 they laid off 850. So I'm just gonna round up and say 2,000. When Epic Games laid off 2,000 employees, they were saying they didn't have enough money and that Fortnite was in like a downturn or something like that, but they were continuing to pay these low quality steal the fucking dog shit map creators millions upon millions of dollars that they couldn't pay their employees. They didn't have enough money to pay their employees, so they had to lay them off. I don't know, it just pisses me off so much. who do I blame? Obviously, you have to blame the creators of the game. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game, son. It is Epic Games' fault for not making Discover better. Discover is like, it's just trash too, by the way. The screen is literally like a tablet. I hate it. It's like nothing like Roblox. Even Cypher said shit like get into a UEFN map, it takes like literally 8+ minutes. And that's if you're on a good device. If you're on like a Switch 1, which I don't even know how Switch 1 is still supported, like old gen Xbox or something like that. Also, I've heard like Switch 2 also has issues with loading. It takes a long time, literally like 10+ minutes. Roblox, it takes like 2 seconds to get into a map. 2 seconds to get into the experience. And that's because Fortnite has to load like the battle pass, has to load the pop-ups to buy the battle pass, has to load up all this stuff, and you can't get rid of it. You can't like uninstall like you can't uninstall like the shop and uninstall these stuff that you don't want to see. You can't not see any of that. It has to load so much bullshit that you don't want. Like if somebody wants to launch Fortnite and just play UEFN maps and not want to play see any of that other stuff, there's nothing you can do. You have to see it. Which that's why we've been pushing for this Fortnite Lite package, which is apparently in development for years at this point, but still it's not available. So the conclusion is nobody wants to make high quality maps anymore. The people that do fail because it does not get pushed on Discover, and they don't really get paid from it because the engagement pool is being slurped up. That 40% is being slurped up by all these low quality maps. So there's absolutely no incentive to make an actual good creative map. I would say if you're gonna try to make like an actual good creative map, just make a solo map, make like a story or like a PvE type map. If you make a multiplayer map which requires like 50v50 or 40v40, don't do it unless, I don't know, unless it's like brain rot or some shit like that, because you will not get on Discover, and even if you promote it, your map is not gonna get players. It's just not gonna happen. I don't know what Tim Sweeney's trying to fucking do. Maybe in the future it'll get better, but it's been out for 3 years and it hasn't gotten better. Creative 1.0 maps are getting just an even more amount of players than UEFN maps, which with all this tool set, we should be like, over the years, I did say earlier that UEFN launched bad, but it's been getting a little better. A lot of features that should be in it are not in it. Like, I think the custom items got pushed to next year or maybe later this year. I'm pretty sure next year though. But there's no point in really using UEFN because most maps are literally made in Creative 1.0 and they're on Discover. So, I don't know. Anyways, if you guys liked the video, I'm just so disappointed in this game. I really am. Like, they just keep pushing this metaverse bullshit and it's all slop. It literally is all AI, copy and paste slop. And I'm pretty sure people are using AI to even make maps as well. Like, literally just generating maps through AI, but that might be fake news. I don't know. I've been seeing some weird tweets about that. It's like an infinite money generator, and I don't know. The Star Wars maps they did make and are promoting are pretty cool. They're pretty high quality, but I want to see more. Like, as somebody who's, I just want to say this, as somebody who's likes FPS games, I love Battlefield, I love Call of Duty. I made a post about this. I thought people were gonna make like Call of Duty like team death matches, and even not even first person wise, even if it's third person, which I do prefer third person honestly, because first person just sucks in Fortnite right now. I did say that. I thought people were making these large-scale Battlefield maps, which they did, but there hasn't really been a lot of them, and they don't get pushed out, so they just fail. I was playing this Anime Tycoon world exploring map, which honestly was pretty good, but even that was a little buggy here and there. That wasn't really pushed out. That probably has no players because I don't see it on Discover. Nobody really made high-quality maps, and the people that did got slammered and didn't really get paid for their work that they did. But that's all I really got to say. Kind of went on a little rant there. Probably the whole video is probably jumbled of me just talking about random stuff. But if you guys like the video, like and subscribe. I'm wondering what kind of thumbnail I'm going to make for this video, because people love that.